The Chamberlain Group that owns LiftMaster has broken MyQ, and I don't think many of us are talking about it. Let's party. Now, when I say the Chamberlain Group and LiftMaster have broken the MyQ app, I don't necessarily mean that it's broken. I simply mean that they changed it, and they changed it in a way that has kind of set a riff. It's actually made a lot of their customers very unhappy because some of the core main features that you were able to utilize MyQ and this great smart garage door app platform are no longer there. And these features I thought were probably the most appealing part of the MyQ platform, because you could utilize these third-party services to work alongside this smart home app and be able to connect alongside with them, thus completing a trifecta of sorts, utilizing your smart home devices to be able to work your entertainment, your lights, and of course now your garage door opener. But those apps and services are no longer available, and I believe that that is a huge misstep on Chamberlain and LiftMaster's part. In fact, there's an excellent article about this from The Verge that claims that about 20,000 customers were affected. And just thinking about that number, wow, that's alienating a lot of customers on the MyQ platform that were pretty much happy with the way things were. And now Chamberlain and LiftMaster are looking to go with like this subscription-based service to give you a little bit more robust features. But why do that when your customers were already happy with what they had? Well, the simple answer is because money. Now, I want to make sure that I preface this video appropriately because I am no reporter. I am a garage door contractor here in the Southern California area, and I install a number of LiftMaster and MyQ devices. And so when I sell these products, one of the main reasons, one of the main highlights of the MyQ platform is their robust ecosystem and be able to utilize MyQ with other devices. Well, now that's changed. I can no longer tell my customer, yeah, listen, you can connect this with your Apple HomeKit, with your Alexa, with your Google Assistant. All of that is gone. In fact, they are not the only ones that were affected. There were a number of third-party services, third-party apps that no longer connect with MyQ. Now, that does not mean that all of them have been excluded. In fact, MyQ, or I should say Chamberlain, on their homepage does have a list of some third-party services that they like to play nice with. But I'm almost 100% sure that these third-party services that they are still continuing to utilize are within their conglomerate or within their ecosystem of services and companies and pretty much organizations that keep the money in-house. So again, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not talking about any type of scandals or anything like that. That just is not my thing. I'm just basically looking at this as a perspective of a dealer contractor, talking to you, the homeowner, to be able to kind of figure out what makes the best sense of going with a smart garage door opener that has an excellent Wi-Fi app. And if you were thinking about MyQ for all of those extra features, well, you wouldn't be wrong in looking at it, but you might be a little disappointed now because they don't offer all of those great features like they did before. So again, I'm going to cite from this Verge article, and I'm going to make sure that I put it in the description of the show notes because I would like for you to make your own judgments, that is your own decisions, your own assumptions about this specific topic. One of the things that it says right here is that the Chamberlain Group, owners of the MyQ Smart Garage Door Controller Tech, has announced it's shut off all unauthorized access to its IPAs. The move breaks the smart home integrations of thousands of users who relied on platforms such as HomeBridge and Home Assistant to do things like shut the garage door when they lock their front door or flash a light when they leave their garage door open for 10 minutes or whatever other controller automation they wanted to do with the device they bought and paid for. Now that's a very interesting just beginning sentence right there, because if you think about it, yeah, that was just one of the great things about utilizing these third-party services with MyQ. For example, the Google Assistant. You could easily tell, the Google Assistant to be able to shut the garage door knowing that you were nowhere near the garage door or you were nowhere near the home, or you needed to make a confirmation or get a confirmation that your garage door was closed. And granted, many of us will have to like open up an app to see the app or to get into one app into another. And opening up apps after apps can get really cumbersome. So to have one app that is like your Google Assistant that has all of your devices inside of it, yeah, it's a nice little feature. And then to be able to do it automated, that is with a voice command, wow, talk about living in the future. Now the article continues to say the following. The move comes a year after Chamberlain disconnected its official Apple HomeKit integration, and a few months after it finally killed support for Google Assistant. It's sadly another example of how the company continues to be hostile to the interoperable smart home. Now that's a very powerful sentence right there. That's a pretty powerful statement, because for a while now, I think LiftMaster, Chamberlain Group, they have been kind of taking this Apple approach with regards to their services, with regards to their hardware, and with regards to pretty much their whole company. And if you know how Apple works, they kind of have like this wall garden. They keep everything within house. They make sure that their hardware is optimized to work with their software, which is also optimized to work with all other platforms within their Mac OS, iPad OS, iPhone, all of those things just kind of work seamlessly. That mentality, it's actually kept Apple alive, and it's probably made it one of the strongest companies that exists today. So thinking about that mentality, thinking about that structure and that type of organization, sure, I believe Chamberlain Group would be wise and making their hardware systems to work seamlessly with their software systems, with their HD cameras, LEDs, along with their smart garage door app, and so on and so forth. But as the article just simply mentions right there, and I know that's, it's just clever writing, and, these journalists have to keep us kind of like engaged. I get that it might be perceived as a very hostile move, knowing that people who utilize a lot of smart home devices would love to have all of these devices speak to each other seamlessly and not have to open an app or not have to buy an additional bridge to be able to connect these devices together. And that's pretty much what we're seeing. We're seeing, LiftMaster, Chamberlain, if they want to keep that wall garden and make sure everything is working optimal, fine, that's great, that's fantastic. But don't give something to the customers that you're later gonna take away or require that they pay a subscription, knowing and realizing that many of them aren't gonna be happy about it. You're just trying to kind of put into perspective their mentality. It's their company, they're gonna do what they want. It's not about us. But at the same time, they really didn't think about us, or they didn't really think about the customer, the end user, the homeowner, and of course all of those great features that perhaps maybe would help the disabled, that single mom, that busy family. That's who I think of mainly, and I feel that that's really where the rift is being made here. Now I digress a little bit, because there is that mentality that you can only do so much with a garage door opener, right? Like year after year, you're changing the Chamberlain design. It used to be that the Chamberlain and the LiftMaster garage door openers, they looked pretty much exactly the same. They just made one a specific color and the other a different color. Now, Chamberlain and LiftMaster has made a huge effort to keep their devices, to keep their garage door openers looking completely different. Even though in the insides are the same, but they're completely different on the outside. And that's just an incentive for the dealer installers to continue to offer LiftMaster as a pro-grade motor. But of course, if the customers are looking for a specific function or functionality within their smart home devices to be able to communicate with MyQ, yeah, we might not be able to deliver. We might not be able to provide them that assurance, that promise, that confidence in this specific app. I think a lot of us will probably think twice about going with MyQ. We might want to consider what Genie's offering in the Aladdin Connect app, or go with these other third-party devices that would allow you to work around it. Now, regardless of whatever camp you're in, the course of action that you'll probably take should be the one that benefits you and your family most. Now, that being said, already there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of fear that these smart home apps can be broken into, they can be hacked. And now with the integration of AI and a lot of stuff, yeah, I think that fear is real. I'm not trying to create fear here, but being worried about those things, it's a reality. It's a possibility at the very least. Therefore, if you're not looking to go with a smart garage door opener that has Wi-Fi connectivity, then consider one of the Genie garage door openers that come without Wi-Fi, like for example, the 2028 or even the 3020, or you could even consider some of the Guardian garage door openers that also do not have Wi-Fi connectivity built in. These openers from Guardian will allow you to connect a module that will make it Wi-Fi enabled, but at the very least, you have those garage door openers out there. Now, granted, those specific brands have their own challenges as well. Nevertheless, the options are there. Now, as a dealer contractor, I would love to hear from my fellow colleagues what they're doing with regards to this situation on the MyQ platform. And if you have the MyQ personally, please chime down below. What's your experience with it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Did you not use those features that were offered before, or did you use them and now do you miss them? Do you hate the move that LiftMaster is making? Do you feel that they're being hostile, or do you think this is just smart business? Whatever you think, whatever idea you have, chime down below. We would love to hear about it. Now, I have a number of videos where we review smart garage door openers, so let's keep this party going. Check out one of these videos right here. As always, I want to thank y'all for partying with me. Y'all stay safe.